Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of your Westland City Council to order. We'll begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman Delano Hornbuckle.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Hornbuckle, for leading us in the pledge. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bauman. Present. Councilman Hart.
Here.
Councilman Hornbuckle.
Here.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Present.
Councilman Wishart is absent excused. Pro Tem Sampe.
Present.
President McDermott.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we start tonight's meeting, and even before we get into the special announcements and presentations that we have, I did want to take a moment to acknowledge someone who passed away here in our community. Last Tuesday, we lost Edna Parker. Ms. Parker was 101 years old. Not only was she a long-standing resident of the Westland community, she was also a former City of Westland and Nankin Township employee. Ms. Parker used to be one of our printers here in Westland for a number of years. I believe she had over 20 or 25 years of service here to the City of Westland. And so I want to acknowledge the passing of Ms. Edna Parker at 101 years old with a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. We will begin tonight's meeting with a special announcement and presentation from Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, and to kick us off, we will have Mayor Coleman.
Well, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. So Blues, Brews, and Barbecue in 2025 was a great success once again. It takes a whole lot of people to get that great family event here in our city accomplished. First of all, I want to thank our city employees, our police officers, our firefighters, DPS, all of the volunteers, all of the community groups that help out. Some of them are here tonight. But a big part of what we do is we donate some of the proceeds back into the community. All in all, we've donated as a city $155,000 back to community groups since the inception of Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. And I want to thank the two former mayors, Mayor Wild and Mayor Londo, that were part of doing that, and also the DDA board that is part of putting that show together. But tonight, yeah, thank you. Tonight we're gonna acknowledge some of the community groups that put their time and effort into making the event happen. We're gonna donate checks back to those groups. I'm gonna have each group come up individually to take a check and take a picture with us. And we'll start with the smallest one and work our way up to the biggest one. And these are done based on how big of a volunteer group works at the event and how many hours you put in helping out. But I know the residents of Westland and everybody who came out to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue really appreciates all that you did to make the event possible. So thank you so much. We'll start with Develop Dance Project with a donation of $200. Anybody here? Okay, so not every group has a representative here, but if you are here, then please come up. Next is one of my favorites, Escott Youth Development. Come on up, guys. And this donation is $250. Thank you, Escott. And if you don't know Escott, this is a great group of people who do an awesome youth program over at our Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center. Let's come on over to the center and we'll take a nice picture, please, with the check. Okay? Yep.
Oh, you can stand in front of the sign. You're fine.
No worries, you're fine.
Just get in front, sweetie. Get this little one in the front.
Like, duck down.
Just like, I don't think you can see you. There's babies up there.
Everyone look here. Hey, 3, 2, 1. Awesome, thank you.
Okay, next up is the Kiwanis Club of Westland, $300. Come on up, Kiwanis Club. Okay, nobody from Kiwanis. All right, next is Friends of the Westland Library, $350.
All right, very good, thank you.
Okay, next up is Gateway Family Worship Center, $350. Thank you.
And 3, 2, 1. Awesome, thank you.
Okay, and Westland Lions Club, $425.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, we're going to keep going. Knights of Columbus, $500. Anybody from the Knights here? No? Okay, we'll get you that check. Next up, Westland Historical Society, $500.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and next I'd like to have St. John's Episcopal Church come up, $650. Thanks for helping out. stay. You can stay up. Sure. And where are we? Let's see. Westland Rotary Club, $750. Okay. These are all great groups. Another one of my favorites, the Norwayne Community Citizens Council, $1,200. And next up, the Civitan Club of Westland, $1,425.
A lot of work.
3, 2, 1.
And I think maybe we'll have, are there any firefighters here? We'll have Chief Stamper come down for the Westland Firefighter Charity Fund, $2,000. Thank you, firefighters. All right. Next up, the Westland Democratic Club, $2,200. You gotta be 6 feet now.
6'1".
6'1"? Okay, and last, with the biggest check, the Redford area J.C.'s, $3,200. Anybody from the J.C.'s? And we'll do we're just going to stay where we're at here, and we'll take a big wide photo of everybody. And what's the grand total tonight, Devin? $14,300 donated back to the community.
Lori. You must smell, Lori. Lori, how old is Alex? How old is Alexander now? Or her grandson? I think he's Axel's son. Is he really?
He's still growing too. Are you gonna scoot in?
Here, apparently. It was an order by your council president. I found a window. I'm fine. I'm not overly concerned about being in all the pictures. Oh, I'm on.
Hold it level though, so it's not like that. everybody say cheese. Look to your right. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, you bet. You bet.
I know, I was gonna say, let's come to
Yeah, on new business, yeah. All right, there's back. We're waiting on Hart, let's see. I guess so. No. Well, we'll get the citizen comments anyway. Yep. Okay. Well, good evening again, and thank you again to all the community groups who volunteered their time tirelessly to work at Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. Without your civic activity and your volunteerism, this is simply not possible. We would never have the money nor resources to staff it without all of your help. So to everybody that came in, worked security, cleaned the table, picked up trash, worked the beer tent, I think most importantly, thank you for all that you do. We will now move on to questions or input on the agenda from the public. This section will allow members of the public at the beginning of the meeting to address the council regarding items that are on tonight's business agenda. Questions asked may be responded to during the agenda item following a motion and support from your city council. Is there anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will close comments on the agenda and move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
There's a motion by Councilman Hart. There is a second by Councilman Hornbuckle. Are there any changes to the consent calendar?
No.
Any changes to the consent calendar?
No, it's a new business.
Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items: minutes of regular meeting held August 4th, 2025, minutes of study session held August 4th, 2025, adoption of resolution to authorize the mayor, city clerk, and attorneys for the city to enter into the settlement agreements concerning opioid litigation settlements and execute all necessary documents to effectuate these settlements. Adoption of prepared resolution to proclaim August 31st, 2025 Overdose Awareness Day in the city of Westland. Approval of the annual email filtering software subscription through CDWG. Subscription to resume immediately and will be effective for a one-year period in the amount not to exceed $6,000. Moving to payment of voucher.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Councilman Hornbuckle. Is there any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter? Any other discussion from the council? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business, item number 1, introduction of ordinance 111-B, an ordinance to amend Westland City Code, Chapter 14, to allow charitable gaming in pool and billiard rooms.
So moved.
Support.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Rakowski. There is support from Councilman Hart. Is there any discussion from the maker? Councilwoman Rakowski.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Council President. This ordinance amendment is probably a long time coming. It really only identifies one business in the entire city that this would affect. So it kind of makes this an ordinance that, it's very short-sighted in regard. And it also allows for charitable organizations to have these gaming activities take place in this arena where people are already participating in games of chance as it is. No one should be subjected to me playing billiards anyway. It's pretty terrible. But at any rate, one of the questions I have, and if I may go through the chair to Attorney Fausone, is that in the packet was included language that would add a fee and perhaps this might be better directed to finance, of $160 for the charitable organization in order to proceed with this. So if I could get some clarity on that, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, for most permits in the city, there's some associated fee for the time and effort involved by the clerk's office largely, and by finance to run down certain questions that may occur for that applicant. So in looking at comparable fees, that's how we settled on the 160. Steve Smith, and I have had some additional discussions on this, and if there appears to be a need to move that up or move that down after this first reading, we'll be able to make those adjustments at the final reading.
Okay, go ahead, if you have a follow-up, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'm looking at the word charitable, and in many cases, the council up here certainly, on many occasions, has waived the fee for charities to be using any of our rental facilities with those fees being waived. So, while $160 may not be overly, exorbitant, I wondered if there wasn't a more costly, or cost-effective way of putting a different fee structure in place for these entities, because they are charitable organizations. And like I said, the precedent has been that anytime somebody rents either our ballroom or our farmer's market, that's been waived.
Through the chair, I assume that's a question to me, I'm not sure, but it's a continuation.
Please, Attorney Fasson.
We'll take a look at that, but as you just pointed out, usually when council's waiving a fee, it's a fee associated with the facility here, as compared to this is going off, obviously the fees for the city, but the activity's not occurring here at City Hall, which when you waive a fee, the city is absorbing the cleanup cost and that sort of stuff. So we can take a look at that.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Okay, and was there anything from the supporter?
Yes, there was.
Yeah,
Thank you,
okay.
Council President. So thank you to my colleague. My colleague and I for sure have been around other charitable organizations before, way back in our way back years, where, quite frankly, poker rooms was really one of the only few mechanisms a lot of charitable organizations had to generate revenue. So I'm happy to see that we're kind of fixing this, creating an opportunity for the charitable organizations, as well as creating an opportunity for a local business. My question was kind of tailing off my colleague, though. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the charitable organization doesn't pay the $160 fee, it'd be the organizer. So I think the organizer would be paying that $160 fee. Is that right?
That would be correct. The entity that's seeking the permit application.
Correct. Okay. So I thought that was correct. So I had to go in my Wayback Machine again and try and remember how it used to be. So that's all I had. Thank you, Council President.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Hart. Councilwoman Baumann.
Yeah, so again, thank you for bringing this forward. I know I've actually been to one of these in Livonia to help a charitable organization. Couple questions, two questions is, for charitable organization, I'm guessing we have some parameters about what, through the chair, I guess, we have some parameters on who, because I know there's a couple things at the state level, that there's some charitable organizations under the Attorney General, but then there's also nonprofits. And I'm just wondering if that's one and the same. So that would be, that's my first part question. My second part question is also related to somewhat of the fee, but more about the application, because my understanding at the state level is that one application can cover 4 events in the calendar year. And so if this is an annual fee, does this also cover up to 4 events in that calendar year? So those are my 2 questions.
Attorney Fasson.
Through the chair, we saw this as one at a time, not an application for 4 events. If the council has a desire to cover 4 events per charity, that would be some additional language we'd have to add in.
It says an annual fee of $160 per applicant, so that's why I'm asking the question for more clarification. Yeah.
Again, I guess I'm looking for direction from council. If you intend, while this is an annual fee, do you intend it to cover 4 state licensed events?
what is the, Council, since you have the floor, Councilwoman.
I'm willing to defer. We haven't really discussed all this together. I would say it says annual fee. I'm willing to accept the annual fee of that, unless there's something, unless, again, if we have the opportunity to increase it or decrease it based on what happens, like what does this, like we said, there's one location right now that's really, that this would, sounds like it would be applicable to, and I think we could start here and see where it goes. I think I'm okay with that. I don't know if I don't know how we get consensus.
So you'd like it to apply, I'll just go around and ask them, do you want it
Okay.
to apply to one event or for cover the year?
I'm okay for the annual, I'm okay for an annual to match the state.
Yes.
Am
Go
I
ahead.
recognized?
Yeah, go ahead, you were
Okay,
recognized.
very good. I just want to make sure. Look, I think there's a lot more fact-finding here, and what I don't want to do is to have this council deliberate over an hour and a half, not only deliberating, but educating themselves at the same time, because I think there's things that the council as a whole doesn't know. There's things that I know a little bit, just based off of me doing it before. Again, that question I had earlier about the difference between the charity and the organizer. The organizer is the one that pays the fee. The charity is the one that applies from the MGCB to go ahead and have that license. So we've tossed a lot of different things around. We're getting things confused, okay? The charity is not paying the fee, it's the organizer. So what I think I would have an appetite for, Council President, is that we get this through so that the organizer can do the organizer work. They've got some things they got to do, and they got a tight time frame. I think we can have a study session very shortly after this, so we have some more information and some more education relative to fees. What I don't want to do is have us start knee-jerking about fees, this, apply this to the other. I think we're really going to get ourselves wrapped around the axle, and I'd rather not do that. So I want to make sure that we're moving things forward for the organizer, then we can sit down, get a little bit more education, and if there is an amendment here, we can do that because it's not going to tie anything up. So that's my opinion. So, thank you.
Councilwoman Baumann.
If I'm hearing correctly, that basically today is just to move forward from the first reading. We're just doing the introduction. We'll have more, we'll schedule a study session or something.
And make an
to have more
amendment as
conversation.
necessary
Yep,
to the
perfect,
language, if
perfect.
that works for you.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Pro Tem Sampe.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Hart. That's actually what I was going to say is by passing it today, this is a first reading, an introduction. So it looks like the council's appetite potentially is about a $40 application fee if you're looking at 4. So that's kind of what I was thinking myself personally. But I would like to see if, Council President, we can have a study session, perhaps if this is going to be on the next agenda, perhaps maybe before our next meeting, so we can get this handled for.
Yeah, if that's the pleasure of the body,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So that's all I was going to say. So thank you, Councilman Hart, because you hit the nail on the head.
Okay. Is there any other discussion from the council? Councilman Hornbuckle.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that this is just going to help us be in line with the state rules. Is that correct? Does this put us in alignment with their?
That's correct.
Yep. What's that? Any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes, and we will work on getting that study session scheduled. Okay, we will now, let me pull up my sheet here. We will now move on to public comment. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers should refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly conduct of the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public do not promote civil discourse. Comments shall be directed to the chair and not to the people in the audience. The chair shall call to order any person who is being disorderly by speaking when not having been recognized by the chair or is being disruptive to the proceedings. If any person, after being called to order, continues to be disorderly, creating a public 13 disturbance, the chair may order that person removed from the meeting immediately. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, Ms. Dale.
Pardon me. Good evening, everyone. Ruth Dale. I'm going to be repeating some of what Council President McDermott said a little while ago. A few days ago, my longtime friend, Edna Mae Parker, passed away. She was short, 3.5 months of 102 years. She was a city employee who ran the print shop in the basement of the City Hall on Ford Road. Edna May won numerous awards and was involved in numerous activities in Nankin Township and Westland. To name a few, Westland Historical Commission 11 years, member Friends of the Museum, secretary for many years for the Westland Breakfast Lions Club, first vice president of the Southeast Westland Homeowners Association, and editor of the SWHA newspaper, senior of the year for Leadership Award at the Friendship Center. Edna May and I worked together on Annapolis Park State Historical Marker and the National Register recognition for Annapolis Park. Edna May was one of a kind, and all who knew her would agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dale. Is there anyone on my right? Yep, Mr. Graham.
Richard Graham from Northville and with Move Westland Forward. Great to be back in council chambers. Congrats, Councilwoman Baumann, for the first place finish in the recent primary. Very well deserved and shows that you're for all the people and not the select few. Move Westland Forward ran a contest in November of 23 after the election in November of 23, and we asked people to guess when former Clerk LeBlanc would quit and not serve his full term. Mayor Coleman guessed the closest number of days to when LeBlanc would not complete his term, so he is going to receive our last Move Westland Forward t-shirt. Well done, Mayor Coleman. I can give this to you after the council meeting unless Council President McDermott would like me to present it after my 3 minutes are up.
Give it after the meeting is fine.
Perfect. Thank you. Councilwoman Sampe, along with Councilman Hart and Hornbuckle. I have internal city paperwork back from November of 23. Many residents in Westland want to know why Deputy Mayor Reddy was terminated by his boss, interim appointed Mayor Michael Landau, on election day back in November of 23. Why was a number 2 person in the city terminated, and especially someone who had such a long history of serving the residents and taxpayers? What did he do that was so terrible to be terminated by his boss? You three are obviously very close to the former interim appointed Mayor Landau, so what happened? Why was he fired on election day? What did he do? Taxpayers want answers. Interesting that Michael Reddy has recently given money to Landau's and Hart's election campaign. Councilwoman Sampe?
You'll have to ask him. I don't know.
I had sent emails, so you have history of this, so,
Yeah, you'll have to ask him.
okay, so doesn't matter to you that,
No, I don't know. I can't give you an answer. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know.
perfect. Councilman Hart, Councilman Hornbuckle?
I have no idea why you terminated them. I mean, I thought we were addressing everything through the chair, but if we're going
Yep.
directly.
Well, through the chair, whichever is the proper, I haven't been here, so I forget some of the.
They can
some
talk
of
to you
all
after the
proper
meeting too,
procedures.
if you'd like, they can come up and talk to you after the meeting and share.
Okay, I thought they could answer during my,
I mean, they don't have to answer.
okay, that's fine. I just was,
They're
I was
right
just
not to.
pausing to give him a chance during my time. Mayor Coleman, do you know anything about his termination? Residents, maybe you want to ask former interim mayor Michael Landau why he fired his former deputy mayor with no public statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone on my left? Ms. Wilson?
No, I'm not going to talk about speed humps because they're irrelevant. They're useless. They have no functionality at all. I want to thank the city for doing a moment of silence for Ms. Parker. I spoke to Ms. Parker the Thursday before she passed, and she was ready to come home. We just didn't know, and she just didn't know. Or then again, maybe she did know. She was going to her heavenly home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, Ray.
It's good to be back. Busy Ray has been busy. The year is gone. Where is it going? Anyway, I want to talk about EQ. I'm going to celebrate my birthday this year, and Kevin Coleman wants to go, he can. It's going to be Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 21st, and police and fire, and a couple of my friends are going to be there too. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, because years ago, it wasn't like this for me. Years ago, people weren't talking to me, because I never give up. I keep going out there, educating, talking, speaking, mental health, all that comes along with the package here. So let's talk about that for a second. Melissa and I talked, hope you all seen this. It's what this is. Parks has signs now on mental health where you can call, text 988. Let's say someone's in trouble. Let's say someone's suicide or someone's trying to, you don't know, maybe someone might be going through a crisis. Like with me, I had to reach out to a friend of mine to call because I got sick. I mean, it can happen to anybody. You can walk out this door today. So that's, and I want the, hopefully I can get the support because the mayor of Dearborn, he's awesome. When I saw this, I love it. The sign, this is my passion. And guess what? You're talking about this button now. I'm going to have a button called 988 text. So people ask me what it is. It's mental health. 988. You call that number and there is supports out there. That's all I'm asking for is hopefully maybe in the parks, could people go to the parks and stuff? And I think that would be a really good thing. So I just kind of want to spread the leadership here and bring it here to Westland. So even with, I'm advocating, I'm going to take it out to Redford too. So Ray is planning on going places. So that's what I'm planning on doing is keep advocating. And the Westland Police Department, Fire Department doing a great job. Looking forward to that. Fire Station 2. Looking good for that ribbon cutting. So I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Ray. And Ray, if you want to hang out after the meeting, some of us will come and talk to you about your birthday, so we'll come up and chat with you. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Lisa Krasinski, and I'm a 12-year resident and homeowner, and I'm also vice chair of the Westland Disability Advocacy Commission, and I've been a commissioner since 2021. I'm just wanting to promote this Thursday, She Rocks Westland, which supports the women of Westland. It's August 21st on Thursday from 7 to 9. It's a free event and dinner is included. Men are invited to come support us women, and you don't have to be from Westland to come, so I just wanted to make that clear. I'll be introducing a keynote speaker as well, so just, if you're able to, come and support the women of Westland. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, sir.
Anthony Jones. Just two small things real quick. I know we're doing the bridge over here on Wayne Road. My question is, from Warren Road north on Wayne Road, it's junk. Why couldn't we, talk to this, who's ever in charge of Wayne Road to, fix it while we're fixing the bridge? Because, traffic's already being diverted to go around it, so there's less traffic on Wayne Road. And I'm sorry I didn't bring it up sooner, but I hadn't been here the last couple meetings. But, I've been thinking about that. Why didn't they do it now? Because it is junk, So, I mean, that's above my pay grade, so. And the second thing is, we just had the Blues, Brews, and Barbecue and that stuff. I've been to like 6 other cities that had carnivals in their city. I brought this up years ago to Mayor Wild, and they said because there was an incident many years ago, they stopped doing it. But the thing is, when you come to these carnivals, it's not just you're going to the carnival. 9 times out of 10, you want something to eat afterwards, you end up going to the local restaurants. Or you go, oh, I need to go do some shopping, so you do it locally. Out of the 6 places I went over the summer, I probably stayed in 3 of the places shopping, So, I mean, we need to bring stuff like this back. And I understand it costs money and stuff like that, but our own citizens, I'm an example. I'm going to these other cities. And I understand garbage happens at these places, but that's part of it, and I hate to say that, but, bring these back so this way, our residents here and, other communities can come to our city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, Ms. Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Teresa Thomas. And first of all, I just want to thank everyone and Mayor for the repaving of Grand Traverse. It's beautiful. Now we even got the lines and everything, so that makes everything a lot better. I have I always have things to ask and to say about our neighborhood because it's so much that needs to be done that hadn't been done in years and decades. So the next thing is I see that I think it's DTE and other contractors are together working on supporting the poles that are out there, electricity poles that are out there. And they're doing it in different parts of the area of Westland, mainly the main roads that are being traveled. I'd love to see those people come within the neighborhoods because specifically those wooden poles, those things are teetering. And at any moment, I'm wondering if it's advantageous to re-support the pole, the same teetering pole, or just replace the pole. And the lines, these lines that I'm sure that haven't been re-supported in decades as well. And you go down Vinoy and Palmer up into the neighborhoods there, Norwayne specifically, the lines are hanging, drooping. I'm very scared that anytime a truck, even the people that are delivering the trucks, the garbage people, I mean, they take care in not hitting those lines. I had issues with the line that came down in my driveway. I have a pole that's in my driveway. They came down, cut the wires, didn't do whatever they had to do. Lights were blinkering, called them, they came back out again. I can't say that they do come when you call them, but what they did was the guy just redid something, so I asked him before he left, so why didn't the other guy do what you did? He says, I don't know. I said, yeah, you guys are just supporting each other rather than doing the proper thing, but that's what happens when they come in our neighborhood, is that they just do haphazard things, to me, unsafety things, and they think that it's okay because they're in Norway, and we don't matter. I live there, I pay my taxes. I expect the same privileges as the higher income surrounding cities. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Thank you. Is there anyone on my right? And finally, anyone on my left? Yes, Dylan. Representative Wagella.
Hi, everyone. I apologize for not being here at the start of the meeting. I'm going to do this in 3 minutes, so quick legislative update. I was just with some teachers. We're working on a ballot initiative, the Tax the Rich to Fund Schools. If you have any questions about that, find me afterwards. A couple of things. First off, in Lansing, we've only had 6 bills signed into law this year. That is a historic low. We are at major budget impasses right now. As you all know, we don't have a budget pass for schools or for the rest of the state. We'll see how that plays out. I'm not trying to fearmonger, I'm trying to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of a government shutdown. As you know, I'm a minority member of the House. The Republicans have the House. Democrats had their budget out months ago. Republicans still haven't passed several of their budgets out. So I just think it's important to talk about that. Staying true to my timeline here, I think it's really, really troubling what we're going to see with the big, beautiful bill passing. The conversation that I've seen in the legislature is that it's going to put the final numbers are coming out, something like $1 billion hole in our budgets. We're going to have to figure out what we do with that. We're going to see major Medicaid cuts and major food stamp cuts. I think the council should know, in the city of Westland, 29% of residents are on Medicaid and 14% of residents are on SNAP benefits. If we look at states that have done work requirements such as the big beautiful bill is trying to do, we have seen that those actually cost a lot more money to implement than it actually saved the state. For example, in Georgia, I believe it costs $13,000 per person to implement. I'm super worried about how this is going to affect our communities, and I'm advocating that we shift funding from these corporate handout funds that we've been giving to over the last couple of years and put them into state Medicaid dollars. We're working on that bill. I'm also very concerned about the funding for ICE that we've seen in that bill. We are seeing an additional $20 billion per year for a total of $28 billion a year. That is more than the countries of Spain and Brazil spend on their militaries. That is $100 billion over 5 years. That is money we could spend on so many other things. And this is like also there's a huge tax breaks for the rich in that bill. So that's also something that I think we should be concerned about. Lastly, I wanted to make sure I came tonight because it is really concerning some of the things I'm seeing happen in our city regarding our President Pro Tem, and I wanted to come offer my support. You know, as someone in office, I've had every address that I've lived in sent to me before. I've received different threats and so forth. And I think it's like political disagreements are fine, right? I've disagreed with probably everybody on the council. Our mayor, I supported our mayor as well. And me and Council President McDermott are probably very close in our political opinions, but even we disagree sometimes. But my point is, we should all feel safe as elected officials, and we should be operating with certain levels of decorum and making sure that people are safe.
Thank you, Representative.
Et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Is there anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Yes, Linda.
Good evening. Linda Filizetti. I just wanted to take time to ask, I just started going on to the city website, and I know that sounds silly, but I just started exploring, and I saw government, and I saw the boards and commissions, and I started to notice that there was a lot of vacancies, and I actually did apply for one, the Historical Commission, but I was wondering if there's a way to get an actual list of what are the current vacant areas and all the boards. I mean, I know it's simple. You can click on A through C, I think it is, and then there's a second one. But if we could get like a list and maybe put it out there somewhere to let people know that there's some volunteer opportunities and maybe get some great candidates into those vacants. One of the boards, I saw that there was 7 vacant spots in one board itself. So just trying to put that out there, and appreciate everyone. I had a chance to volunteer for Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. I've been going as a resident, and it was the first time to volunteer, so it was great to see that money goes back. I never knew that, so I think, again, if people were made aware of that, how much we put back into the community, I think this is the first start of it. So thank you all for your time, and have an amazing night.
Thank you, Ms. Filizetti. Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Yes. Ms. Warren.
Good evening. Christina Worm, proud chair of Norwayne Community Citizens Council, Norwayne resident. Just wanted to say our back to school extravaganza went extremely well. We had over 200 families receive backpacks, a dinner, movie, and thank you to the council members who assisted and helped with supporting us through that, either through volunteering, getting donations for us. It was wonderful and everybody had a great time. We had a lot of great pictures out there from the event. We also have our upcoming Rosie Beyond the Riveter Tea fundraiser coming up September 6th, 11:30 in the afternoon. It's going to be a wonderful time. Just community tea fundraising. Again, we're looking for baskets for our auction. If anyone is interested in getting us any of those, it's definitely a big part of helping us on top of our ticket sales as well. We do have online tickets available, as well as you can write a personal check and take that to Jefferson Barnes. But again, looking forward to seeing everyone, and thank you very much to my state representative for being present this evening. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Worm. Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move on to comments from the administration with the mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, City Council, everybody in attendance tonight. Representative Wagella, nice to see you again. I'll kind of have long comments tonight. I have a whole bunch of updates, but a couple people from the audience. Mr. Jones, good to see you. Wayne Road, certainly concerned about the condition of Wayne Road as well. That's a county road. Agree that Wayne County needs to resurface it. I believe it is on their list in the next year or so. And just so you know, we did secure $1 million for streetscaping, which is to improve the intersections. Specifically, Cowan and Wayne Road, Warren and Wayne Road, and Macon Boulevard and Wayne Road. So you'll see us working with Wayne County to improve that area. Unfortunately, it couldn't be done right when the bridge was being done, which would have been nice, but some of that has to do with funding and timing. So, Mr. Graham, thank you for the T-shirt. Appreciate it. You asked a question about former Deputy Mayor Reddy. Did find it odd the timing of his firing, and I know he received a severance payment. So I'd like to congratulate Shannon Inman on her first election as city clerk. Well done. Certainly wish you well in your new role. And I want to congratulate your entire team as well. I want to express my condolences to the family of Edna Mae Parker. I was able to share her 100th birthday with her in November of 2023. Certainly a very special lady. She was the city's oldest retiree. She worked originally for Nankin Township, starting in 1965, and then retired in 1987. So she had a great career here in our city. Started long before a lot of us were here. And she'll certainly be missed. She was a member of the Westland Lions Club for decades. In 2007, she played an integral role in the Annapolis Park subdivision receiving their state of Michigan historical designation. And I know she was just a great champion for our city and for our community. So we'll miss you, Edna. As students are returning back to school, I'd like to remind everyone to please drive safely, watch for pedestrians, and stop for school buses, of course. The city is in the process of having all the school crosswalks refreshed, along with all the markings on major roads, including stop bars, crosswalks, and railroad crossing signs. I'd like to thank the Opportunity Tennis Academy for their great event Saturday at Stottlemyre Park. I was able to join Mr. Warren from the Southeast Westland Homeowners Association and other community members. Kyle Mulligan, our Parks Director, was there as well. But they received a grant from the United States Tennis Association totaling $27,000, and were able to resurface the 2 tennis courts there. They're beautiful. They have a great summer program for young students to learn tennis, and it was just a great energy there, and just want to thank them for everything they're doing in our community. I'm getting questions about this one, so I want to just explain that Wayne County does the Household Hazardous Waste Day. This is coming up this Saturday, actually, August 23rd, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Westland Mall. It's a great opportunity for residents to get rid of their unwanted electronics, and household hazardous materials. And you can visit the city website, cityofwestland.com, for a list of acceptable items. I'd like to invite everybody to join me and city staff Thursday, August 28th at 5:30 p.m. for our free community gathering and movie night, which is, the next one's going to be at Corrado Park on the city's north side. There'll be hot dogs, chips, popcorn, and lots of fun things for families and everybody. We'll be showing the movie How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World at 7 p.m. Please bring your own lawn chairs and blankets. And I know our fire and police departments will be out there as well with some cool vehicles and stuff for the kids to see, so that's going to be great. All city offices will be closed on Monday, September 1st in observance of Labor Day. Trash pickup will be delayed by 1 day that week. I'd also like to invite everyone to join me at my 2025 State of the City address on Tuesday, September 9th at 4 p.m. at the new Fire Station Number 2, located at 7300 North Merriman Road. I'm excited to update everyone on the accomplishments and our vision for the future of the city of Westland. We'll also be holding our official ribbon cutting ceremony for Fire Station 2. Really excited about this. I think it's a great step for our city. On Thursday, September 11th at 11 a.m., this is also open to the public. And just to backtrack for a second, the State of the City address is RSVP, so please call and get a hold of us to secure a spot. The ribbon cutting ceremony for Fire Station 2 is completely open, so you can just show up and bring everybody. Just to be clear. Tickets are on sale for our craft beer and wine festival that will be held on Saturday, September 13th from 5 to 10 p.m. at Central City Park. Early bird tickets are $30 and include 12 craft beer and wine samples, a commemorative cup, live entertainment, cornhole, and food are available for purchase. Get your tickets early as prices increase September 1st. And then just to finish up, I'd like to provide updates to the city on Nankin Square and Amphitheater, Fire Station 2, and the reopening of the pond at Taylor Towers. Nankin Square and Amphitheater began in August of 2024. It's on schedule to be completed this fall. It's a 3.7 acre park and will feature nature and adventure play areas, a unique amphitheater, gardens, boardwalks, walking trails, and an events plaza. Nankin Boulevard between Warren and Central City has been repaved and will be restriped with the addition of a northbound bike lane on the eastern portion of the boulevard. The Parks and Rec and Economic Development departments are working on programming for the next year. There'll be plenty of parking with our agreement with Westland Mall to utilize their parking lot immediately across from the park, and there'll be a new street parking on Nankin Boulevard for handicap parking for direct and easy access for visitors. We're very excited for the completion of this project. Fire Station 2, which I mentioned earlier, is in the final stages of construction. This nearly 13,000 square foot facility will house personnel for Engine 2 and Rescue 2 who respond to over 3,000 calls annually. It will also house our fire administration offices, our new training command center, and eventually a training tower will allow for mandatory continuing education now required by the state for our firefighters. And a lot of people ask me, why is this building so big? Because really it's a 3-in-1. It's not just a firehouse. It's a station, it's administrative offices, and a training center. So it's a big, expensive building, but it's going to serve our city for many decades. Currently, we're traveling to Livonia and Taylor to meet these training requirements, our firefighters are, decreasing our response capabilities during those times, so I'm excited to have that in-house here in Westland. The pond at Taylor Towers was closed in 2007 by former Mayor William Wild after Eagle, that's the Environment Department of the state of Michigan, determined the ground there was contaminated. In 2023, the previous administration removed the 8-foot fence that restricted access to the pond. My administration, since taking office at the end of 2023, has worked with SME, OHM, and Eagle at the state of Michigan to bring the area back to a safe level to reopen. We added clean soil across the 8 acres and added the grass seed. The area is now open to the public, and we've added signs for no fishing, no swimming, no boating, and no ice skating. There is also a warning sign that this is deep water and unsafe to enter. But we are very grateful to have this pond and area reopened after nearly 20 years. And I think it looks a lot better than it did, and will continue to improve the area near Taylor Towers and Central City Park. And that's all my comments this evening. Thank you, City Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the city attorney's office this evening?
Nothing this evening.
Okay. We will begin council comments this evening by hearing from Councilwoman Rakowski.
Well, thank you very much, Council President, and good evening, everyone. At first, I'd like to recognize, like so many of us have, Ms. Parker's long legacy here in the city of Westland, and may her memory be eternal. I would like to personally ask Representative Vogella to work with your colleagues on your cohorts in the Senate. Please get a school budget passed, please, for the future of our children. There's so many resources that are so necessary in classrooms for the children, not just in our community, but all over our state. And by shortchanging those children, you're really affecting the future of our state. And if there's a large push by the state government talking about the talent and the job opportunities in our state, maybe we should start talking about the talent of our children and embracing that. So I implore you to please advocate on our behalf. I want to ask Ray, if I may, with your permission, if I may make a poster of your button for my classroom. I had it on my lanyard, and wonderful, thank you. So many people asked about it, so I think it's going to be a really exciting thing to have in there. And I'll add the other one too, our 988 number, because just because they're younger doesn't mean that they don't face the same challenges, right? So with that, I just want to wish all of our students, teachers, school staff, and of course our parents a happy and safe 25-26 school year. Please be aware of our children. Please don't speed down the streets. Please don't be on your cell phones. Please don't be putting on your makeup or eating your McDonald's. Please have your eyes open for these children. They are doing the one thing that we ask of them, and they're doing it while they're going to school. So if we can please just be aware, we've had far too many fatalities and casualties in our city due to reckless driving in our school zone areas. I'd like to thank the administration for taking on the very important job of making sure that our school crossings are safe for our children. So thank you for making that a top priority. And with that, I just wish you a wonderful rest of August, a relaxful and memorable Labor Day, and here's to a new school year, friends. Let's get those kids back to school. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rakowski. We will now hear from Councilwoman Emily Bauman.
Thank you. I'm going to share it, I guess, in the condolences to Ms. Parker's family and friends as well. I didn't know her, but I loved hearing her part in the history of Westland, and that was very inspiring to listen to, so I just want to share that. I want to also share the Blues and Group Barbecue was another wonderful event. I was glad to have gone again. Thank you to all the volunteers, administration, and everyone that helped to make that successful. What was really neat this year for me was that I had a lot of conversations both with people from the Westland area, but also a lot of people from not from Westland. And that was actually really encouraging because there's people that came for the first time ever, and they're like, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to come back. And I'm like, that's great, we can grow and be the place, be the place that people want to come to visit, which is really cool. So I was really excited to hear that. Also, congratulations to our newest police officers who were sworn in tonight. I got to go to that, and that is, I do like it over, I will say, I like it over at the police station because there's just, I think it actually makes sense. So I do like that switched over there. I am actually going to, this was on the consent calendar, but I do want to thank Councilwoman Pro Tem Sampe for bringing the International Overdose Awareness Day resolution forward. It's actually another area that likely touches many of us who have maybe experienced somebody who has died or is struggling with drugs to a point where that's concerned. I personally have had several people overdose to death. And then, as I tend to do, when something comes up, I tend to go deep dive into the organization that actually puts it forward, the International Overdose Awareness Day organization, the IOAD. And as the resolution states, the goal of their organization is to bring awareness, and I hope I'm not stepping on Councilman Sippy's toes with this one, of talking about it, but the goal of bringing awareness is to spread the word about the tragedy that overdose death takes on, obviously individuals as well as families and things. It's also to support the family and the loved ones and show that it is preventable and we can end overdose death. And that's one of the things I think that the toolkit that they have available on their website is really full of information about how to learn more about this. And then the 2025 theme this year was One Family, One Hope. And similar to like Ray brought forward, is that 988 includes anyone who might be suffering from heavy drugs or is in an overdose crisis. So 988 includes those as well. So that's just, want to carry over that. I do also want to share with all the parents starting their school year this year. Some of us might be doing a little clicking of the heels sometimes because we have a little more time in our day. Others might be saying, oh my gosh, my schedule changes now. I've got to do all the sports driving around at all the different teams. And I share in that. I'm actually really happy though that I no longer have to split two different teams. My boys are on the same team for soccer and I'm like, whoa. So that's actually really exciting. That's a first for us. We always usually have multiple, split our time in multiple areas. And then the last thing I think I want to say is actually I'm going to give a happy birthday to my husband, Bill. It was last week, but he did celebrate, not a milestone, but still a big birthday because he didn't know I was going to do this. And I want to recognize him today for having this for another year. So, and with that, that's all I have today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and happy birthday to your husband. We will now hear from Councilman Hornbuckle.
Thank you, I appreciate it. First, start off with my condolences to Ms. Parker as well. Definitely a legend of our city, served our city very well. So my condolences to her and her family and her community as well. I want to thank the city for giving back to the community for each of the organizations that came out and volunteer. You guys do a lot of great things in the city, and it's great to see the city give back for helping the city thrive for everyone. Also, back to school, I definitely want to echo, take it easy. Kids are excited to get back to the school, excited to see their friends. So, watch the speed limit. If you can go slower than the speed limit, I advise doing that because, the kids are excited to see their friends and haven't seen in a while. So be safe this school year, beginning of the school year. Also, I want to thank you for coming out and speaking out against online bullying. It's definitely messing with people mentally as well and physically. So I want to thank you for speaking out. And, it's kind of disheartening to hear that some of our leaders encourage it, and that should stop as well. So thank you for speaking out, and I hope others speak out against online bullying as well. What else do I have here? I think that's it. I'll see you guys in, 2 weeks? And thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Councilman Hornbuckle. We'll now hear from Councilman Jim Hart.
Thank you, Council President. Where do you start? So first, of course, to Ms. Parker, may she rest in peace, served as a living example to here, not only people here in Westland, but everywhere. I would hope that her memory serves as a lasting example of how we should behave and act and be advocates of our community. So I wish her family and her friends well and peace at this time. Thank you to all the nonprofits came out and supported the Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. It does take a village, and we've proven that, right? So it takes a village to run that event. The administration did a really good job. It's definitely grown in the past 2 years from what it used to be. I am impressed with it. I had my family members actually drove in to witness it as well. So the coverage was good. So heard a lot of positive things. I didn't have anything to really complain about, other than it was a little warm, but that's not too bad. So thank you. Again, Mayor, to the administration and your team, please extend my thanks. When it comes to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, Mr. Jones brought up, why don't we have carnivals? That's actually an issue that predates me, and all of us on this council. And I think the only one here who remembers the scars is our Chief of Staff, Mr. Godbout. And when I asked him, why don't we have carnivals, games of chance, and rides? At that time, when the council decided, at the behest of the police department and everyone else, there were roving factions of troublemakers that would use them as a place to arrive and engage in violent activity, for lack of a better word, right? And if there's an appetite now from the police department and we feel that might not be an issue, love to hear about it. But I don't think there's a lot of positivity around it yet. But my mind could be changed. But I do respect where my predecessors were when they made that decision and the reason they had for it. So if there's something we feel has changed over time, I'm not getting a lot of ups and downs, willing to talk about it. But that's the answer for it. So if you wanted an answer, that's why. Let's see. We talked about... the lady here brought up the polls. Thank you, tongue-tied. Ms. Thomas, you brought up the polls. I just happen to be familiar with it every now and then. You're seeing all the poles up and down Vinoy. The reason why they're placing those right now is because those are high power lines. So those aren't just regular lines. Those are main trunk, main power lines, high power distribution, right? They're getting them higher in the air, and they're getting them quite safely on something, a metal structure, because the wooden poles, those come down on a high power line. We're going to have a lot bigger issue than just the fire department outside roping it off. So that's why DTE's out there moving those now. Now, I say that to say this. Many times over the years, myself, my colleagues, members of the public have identified telephone poles that in their neighborhood that look bad and they have concern. At that time, the answer was to reach out to the mayor's staff, specifically the facilities director, Mr. Aliawati, and he's supposed to be our liaison with DTE. So if you email them, the administration, I'm sure that they'll go ahead and reach out to DTE. Ms. Rick Walder over at DTE also. I've actually had it done myself. I've seen a bad pole once and I alerted them. Now it takes some time because when you have a telephone pole, it has DTE stuff on top, then the cable company, then the phone company, and the fiber provider, and they all have to move their stuff one at a time. DTE can't move Comcast cables, and Comcast can't move DTE's cables. So it takes a while for them to move things over and then wreck them out. But I say all that again, if you see a pole that you know has got a problem, it looks unsafe, please email the administration and let them know, hey, this is an issue and here's where it's at. And on every pole, usually there's even a little ID tag. So if you have that too, that might help in your email and get some response back out there. So that either will have a little brass tag, a silver tag, or it'll have a yellow sequence of numbers on the side of it, that with an address or cross streets. They should have everything they need. So if you see something that goes to everybody, send it out there. Last, the question was asked about the termination of the former deputy mayor, chief of staff. The truth of it is, every member of the administration here works at the pleasure of the mayor. All of them, with the exception of anybody who's on a collective bargaining agreement, being the police, the fire, DPS, supervisory staff, all right, and clerical, well, yeah, 1602, thank you. They work at the pleasure of the mayor. The mayor can, at that time, terminate anybody he feels for whatever reason that person wants. I never got an email from the former mayor why Mr. Reddy was terminated. So that leaves me to my own opinion, just like it leaves everybody else to their own opinion. But frankly, without fact, I've got nothing to go on. So that's all I have. So the answer to that is, I don't know. That's between him and the former mayor. It's no different than 6 weeks later when our current mayor fired 2 people. Same thing. That's between the new mayor and those people, and that's why he terminated them. They have their reasons. I wasn't sent an email for those 2 individuals either. So I don't know. So that's the answer. If you want the answer, reach out to the 2 people who are involved. They'll give you your answer. So other than that, I don't know. They got to get it from them. They worked for the mayor. Mayor exercises the right to terminate. That's the end of it. So I have nothing else I can say or do, and I can't demand a reason why. That's just the way it is. So with other than that, enjoy your Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Hart. We'll now hear from Pro Tem Sampe.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you to the Norwayne Citizens Council for putting on another great event. I know the backpack event was fabulous. Thank you for allowing us to attend and pass out backpacks. I know that a lot of families came there and you expanded it with shoes and a few other things. So thank you to everyone that was involved in that. Congratulations to all of the groups that participated in Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. It was fantastic to see you out here this evening. Ray, who mentioned the 988 sign, that was a conversation call that Ray called me at home, and we chatted for about an hour. And he was just really excited about what Dearborn is doing. And I said, Ray, I agree with you. I think Westland, they have those on their parks, in the parks. And I think that it would really help out a lot of people. So I'm going to talk with my colleagues, and hopefully we can possibly do something like that here in Westland. Bless you, Mayor. And, maybe it might be something that we can do. Awesome. Yeah, that would be great. I think he'll support it. He does support mental health. And then it was mentioned about the resolution. Thank you, Councilwoman Bowman. She actually, I got this together, and she actually gave a lot of good suggestions, so I appreciate that. And we worked together to make sure that it was on the agenda. And there is an event that's coming up. I'll plug it on the 28th. I'm happy that I'll be able to be there and actually speak. So that's taking place here at City Hall. It's an overdose awareness event. It's from 6 to 8 here at City Hall, and it's free. They just ask you to register. So I'll be speaking at that event, and I'll put that on my Facebook page, my personal council page, Councilwoman Sampe. So Ray, I will see you Thursday at your birthday event. It looks like you invited everyone in the city. I mean, you just mentioned it to everyone. 4 o'clock. Ray, 4 o'clock? Are you telling people 4 to 5?
About 4 to 6.
Okay, 4 to 6. And then come on over to City Hall. There's the She Rocks Westland event. So it could just, the party starts on Thursday at 4, whoever's around. And we'll just continue on at Dairy Queen. Thank you for your leadership, to our State Rep Wagala for standing up and denouncing violence. Being in this position could be quite difficult in many ways. For several years, I've been a political target. Mr. Pruitt has a pattern of behavior of cyberbullying, and I've learned to live with it. There's actually people in the audience that have been bullied. Nearly all of us on the council have been bullied. But over the past few weeks, it's escalated into a situation where it's stalking, harassing me and my family. And over the weekend, this individual got my license plate, my car, and put it all over every community group that he could. And that really crosses the line as public officials. We do our best. It's okay to have a public disagreement or you don't like what we do, but that really violates, in many ways, what I feel is just crossing the line. I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm a wife, and honestly, I fear for my safety, for my family. Now, no acts of violence have been committed, so, no one has come after my family. But really, that's the first step towards political violence in the community. It starts with that, and I don't know who's seeing the photos, the videos. I don't know who might be motivated to harm me and my family. There's a lot of tension out right now, but I'm speaking publicly today because I want to make it clear to the neighbors and everyone that lives here in Westland that there's no room for political violence, okay? Our community needs to feel safe. We need to be able, if we disagree with something, we should be able to speak about it and not be attacked and screenshotted and posted and videoed and followed and stalked. That is harmful for our community. We are navigating a very tense and polarizing climate right now. And I'm not going to allow any threats of political violence, no small, no large, to go unaddressed. So I chose public service. I ran to be a member of your council because I love my neighbors. I've lived in Westland my entire life, and I care about this community deeply. My family's here, and it means speaking up, even if you have to speak your truth. And even in moments like this, when personal attacks are very high, so many of you have reached out to me and asked me if I'm okay. And it's very difficult because as safety, you just don't know. You don't know if someone is going to attack you and come after you. And I want the residents of Westland to know that I'm committed, and I want to serve you and fight for you and do good things in the community, and I'm here for as long as you'll keep me here. Thank you. Thank you. But political violence does not need to sit in this community. And I hope that the mayor will denounce public violence and political violence, because it's not safe. None of us should feel safe, and you should feel safe in your community. So I just want to thank you all for expressing your concern and care. And if you ever have questions, please reach out to me. I've talked to a lot of you, and I just want to really thank everyone that has checked on me. And I really want everyone to know that I'm here to serve you. So God bless you all, and thank you.
Thank you. First off, I want to start by thanking everyone who volunteered at Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. To all the community groups, they were all mentioned and recognized up here, but there are a number of them. The Norwayne Citizens Council, who's still here, the Westland Democratic Club, the Civitans, the Lions Club, the Historic Village, the Rotary, to everybody that volunteered and all the community groups. Blues, Brews, and Barbecue simply isn't possible without all of your hard work and dedication. There's no way that we'd be able to hire that amount of staff to come and work the front areas, to check bags, to pick up trash, to clean the tables, to pour beer and check IDs. I know Mr. Short here spent 2 long days checking IDs. But all that work that goes on to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue is not possible without your civic engagement and involvement. So thank you to all the community groups each and every year who not only volunteered this year, but come back year after year. I see many of the same people and friends here in the audience that have volunteered for a decade or more at Blues Brews. Our Civitan friends have been there, I think, almost every year we've had a Blues Brews event. So thank you all for what you do. And also a thank you to the administration, to the mayor, and specifically to our Parks and Recreation Director, Kyle Mulligan, to our Purchasing Director, Devin Adams, our DPS Director, Ramsey El Garib. There's a lot of work that they do and their teams do, the park rangers, the DPS staff, that you don't even see in the many months leading up to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue to get ready for the event. All the tents that you see set up there is done by DPS well in advance of the event. All the planning that goes with JW and Associates behind the scenes is done by our Parks and Rec Director, Kyle Mulligan, by our Purchasing Director, Devin Adams, and also by our Economic Development Director, Alex Garza. So thank you to the administration, the mayor's office for the many months of planning. And then to our public safety officials, our police and our fire who are out there keeping it, largely incident-free. We have had very minor incidents in years past, and I think almost nothing. A couple of kids that got separated from their family that were quickly reunited by PD, and a couple of minor medical incidents that fire was right on top of. So to our Westland Police and our Westland Fire Departments, thank you for being out there as well. We greatly appreciate it. And one thing that doesn't always get recognized is the contest. It's not directly affiliated with Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, but we have the KCVS contests every year. So thank you to my 2 colleagues, Councilman, just him this year? Okay, well, thank you to my 1 colleague, then Councilman Jim Hart, for doing the event, and to former Clerk LeBlanc for being a judge at the event. Thank you for planning and putting on that event every year as well, this year included. Thank you to my colleagues, Pro Tem Sampe and Councilwoman Bauman, for working on the overdose awareness resolution that I think is critically important. And it not only highlights the importance of addressing those who have a chemical dependency or a substance abuse issue, it also goes to highlight the need for policing reform, and that people who have substance abuse problems should not be treated like criminals if they have committed no other crime. They need help. Oftentimes, they need help for their chemical dependency, but those individuals also are dealing with brain health issues and mental health problems as well, and they need that kind of help and assistance. And so that's why it highlights the importance of policing reforms that we have engaged in here in the city of Westland already, like hiring a social worker, like having someone who is a substance use disorder specialist to come in there and help those individuals in their time of need, so that we're keeping them out of the prison system and actually getting them beneficial mental health care, beneficial chemical dependency care, so that they can get back on their feet and turn their lives around and not end up incarcerated in the prison system. In this country, over a 60-year period going back to Richard Nixon's war on drugs in the 1960s, we have incarcerated anyone and everyone for every minor infraction involving hard drugs, marijuana, you name it. And recognizing overdose awareness is important, not only to, help those individuals and their families, but to keep them out of the prison system as well. I want to thank our city clerk, Shannon Inman, and her team, and also our former clerk, Richard LeBlanc, for all the hard work they did on the primary election. So thank you to your team. Thank you to all of the Election Day volunteers who came out and worked a polling location to make sure that our residents could vote. I say this every time we have an election when I feel that turnout is low. It is disappointing that more people don't come out and vote. So if you didn't vote in the primary, please come out and vote in the general election. Democracy is not and cannot be a spectator sport. It really requires all of our active participation. One of the reasons that I do try to engage people year-round and knock on doors year-round, even when I'm not up, myself, is that I want to encourage people to be more civic-minded and involved in the process. Not only to come out on election day, but to come to meetings just like this, to come to study sessions, to participate in your city council and in your civic duty and right of voting. So hopefully we can bump up turnout by quite a bit for the general election. But again, thank you to your team and your staff for all of their work. I want to thank the 2 new Westland police officers who were sworn in tonight. We look forward to many years of service, and we wish them nothing but the best and safety as they get on their journey as Westland police officers. I believe both of them were here as police service aides prior to hiring in. Is that correct, Chief? Yes. Okay, so they're moving over to become full-time officers as they were sworn in tonight, and they have obviously some familiarity with our city as well, and we wish them nothing but the best and safety moving forward. As was mentioned by our state representative, Wagella, some of our leaders in Lansing have absconded on their duty to pass a budget. Generally, budgets in Lansing are passed in June, and we are now going on 3 months without a budget. Not only does that affect the school aid budget, but also any general fund budget that doesn't get passed affects us in terms of statutory revenue sharing. That is money that comes here to our city, that goes to our parks and recreation, our public safety with police and fire. And, if we as a council failed to pass a budget with the administration, we would be held not only to law by our charter, but I'm sure all of you would be here angry at us as well. And you would have every right to be. And so, I think we all call upon our leaders in Lansing, Speaker Matt Hall, to pass a budget. And not only a school aid budget, but a general fund budget as well. So thank you for bringing that to the attention of the public and the residents here, Representative Wagella. I do want to encourage everyone to come out to the She Rocks Women of Westland event. That was the second annual event now that we're having here, that our Director Pascal Ize is putting on, and I would encourage everyone to come out and celebrate all the amazing accomplishments of women in Westland, not only my colleagues here on council, women who've shaped Westland's past, like former Mayor Cicerelli, and others who've been on this council too, who have served, who've played an important role here in our community. So I would encourage you all to come out. As was mentioned by Ms. Worm, on September 6th, there is the Norwayne Citizens Council Rosie Tea event. This fundraiser is done every single year to help raise funds for the Norwayne Community Citizens Council. So the great events that we put on as a Citizens Council, like the Back to School Backpack Giveaway, is done because of your contributions through fundraising events like the Rosie the Riveter Tea. So I would encourage you to come out on the 6th. You can purchase a ticket, or you can sponsor a whole table, and you can also donate baskets at the event as well. And again, I had the opportunity to participate in the Back to School Backpack Giveaway. I think this is my 4th year now. It's the 4th year in a row we've had it. We didn't have it COVID year, but my 4th year in a row that I've been able to be out there and participate. I want to thank my colleagues who joined me. I saw Councilwoman Rakowski out passing backpacks, Pro Tem Sampe, Councilman Hornbuckle stopped by. So thank you all for joining out and volunteering. And thank you most of all to everybody on the Norway Community Citizens Council. Ms. Thomas, Ms. Worm, Phil, Annette, our Community Development Director, Joanne Campbell, and everybody who was on the Citizens Council who made the event a success, and all the community groups that were out there helping out as well to hand out backpacks, to donate. Thank you for coming out and making it a huge success. We are starting kids off right for the school year with all the supplies and necessary for a great school year. DTE was brought up, always a fun topic to talk about DTE. So thank you, Councilman Hart, for addressing what to do when you do have loose poles just hanging around for months at a time in your yard or on the street, as to why we have them there and what you can do if they are there. You know, it's encouraging to see more work be done now with replacing poles, tree trimming, infrastructure upgrades, but the reason that they're so ferociously working now is because of years of neglect, right? So there was a better part of 2 decades where communities just like Westland, and I say especially Westland because we have a lot of above-ground infrastructure and non-buried infrastructure, communities like Westland were neglected for years, for decades by DTE. And I think everybody in this audience and residents watching at home all have a story that they can attest to, that they've had power outages multiple times per year. They were out for days at a time. I know one of my colleagues who used to serve up here is now our other state representative, Representative Herzberg. His neighborhood was out one time for a week straight, and then they got their power back on, and they were out a second time in a matter of days. And that's really unacceptable, and it's the job of all of us as elected officials, as your elected leaders, to hold DTE, you know, accountable, right? Because if we're, as elected officials up here and across Southeast Michigan, aren't holding them to accountable, they're going to continue to make hefty campaign contributions to our leaders in Lansing to the tune of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in the case of Governor Whitmer's reelection campaign and her inauguration campaign. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars over her tenure in office. And it goes along both sides, Democrats, Republicans. It knows no partisan coloration here. So it is the job of all of us not to bend the knee to DTE, but to speak out when DTE has shoddy record, isn't investing in our grid, is telling us one thing to the public and then selling something completely different to their shareholders on Wall Street. So anytime that we can talk about, speak out against DTE is great. I do appreciate the work that they're doing, the continued investments in our infrastructure that they're making, but this comes after decades of unfortunate neglect. And then with that, I think that's just about all I have. I am looking forward to a couple of exciting events that the mayor did mention with regards to the ribbon cutting for Fire Station, the new station number 2, with regards to the annex at Nankin Square Park that's going to go up there. And last but not least, I will say thank you, Representative, and thank you, Pro Tem, for your comments. You know, everybody has the right to speak out and say what they want and pound the desk and say, any one of us, Councilman McDermott, you're doing a bad job. I don't like what you're doing. I disagree with you on a particular issue. It is our job to accept criticism from anyone in this community. And if you're not a resident and you happen to be passing through, it's our job to, you know, accept criticism from you too. That comes with the territory of being an elected official. And, you know, we have to have, you know, thick skin, and also have to have the ability to admit when we make mistakes, when we do wrong, because we are not perfect individuals. I think there is a line to be said, though, or a line to be drawn between what is general criticism of decisions we make, behavior we have, any number of things, and what then borders on harassing behavior. So anytime, you know, you see that, please speak out, please stand up. And it goes, you know, every which way. We have no right to be that way towards anyone in the public, and we hope that we are all treated with decorum and respect as well. And, you know, it does come with the territory to take criticism, but there is a line that has to be drawn and stated on what is criticism and what crosses that. So thank you both for bringing that up. And with that, if anyone needs to get a hold of me, you can always reach out to me on my cell phone at 734-890-2146. You can call or text me, or you can find me on Facebook at Councilman Mike McDermott. And with that, oh, one other thing I did want to bring up, sorry, one other thing. I apologize, I know you're all groaning. Rolling your eyes. We're going for a road record, no. But Labor Day was mentioned, and it is coming up, and I could make this comment post-Labor Day, but I do want to make it because it will be before our next council meeting. Remember when you're out there celebrating Labor Day, that we're really not just having the last barbecue or celebration of the summer. We are celebrating the working class men and women of this country who have sacrificed and gave all. And there are thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people throughout this country's history who died doing and giving their labor. And some people weren't even allowed to just give their labor. They were forced in bondage and slavery. So remember everybody who died and made the ultimate sacrifice on Labor Day. And remember the labor movement and unions that gave us not only the Labor Day holiday, but gave us the 40-hour work week, gave us health care in the workplace, and gave us all the protections and safety that we have at the workplace. So that the incidents that we have in the past in this country where people died on the job, thank your union brothers and sisters for all of their work as well. So for everyone that serves in a union here in the city of Westland, thank you for your service as well. We thank our public employee unions and police and fire, DPS, UAW Supervisory Union, thank you for your service as well. And we certainly stand behind you in your ability to bargain freely and fairly for a fair contract. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.